Hi there. Welcome to this class, Why Teens Need to Write. My name is Annalise Jones, or Annie Lucia is my Facebook name. I'm a homeschooling mother of 5, and we've been homeschooling since the beginning. And my oldest is graduating this month, so I'm super excited. It's been quite the journey. And there are definitely some things that I wish I had figured out sooner. So I'm here today to give you some homeschooling hacks and help you grasp why writing is so important for education and just personal development, confidence, and self-expression in general. So let's get started. You were born a writer. You are a writer because you were born a writer, not because your name is found in print on a cover. So what makes somebody a writer? It is our birthright. It's part of our divine design. It's in our genes, no matter who you are as a human, because humans are expressive social creatures, and we gain confidence in expressing ourselves and in sharing. So writing is your soapbox. I love saying this. Who doesn't want a soapbox, right? Can we just gather people up and get them to listen to what we know and what we feel and what we're passionate about? Writing is your soapbox, not just for others, but for your own sake as well. It's such a powerful tool to develop confidence and to feel inspired. But guess what? You can't speak on your soapbox until you can think. And writing really helps you sort out your thoughts, use your emotions correctly and appropriately, and to think constructively. And so all those things will come out when a paper is written of any type. So writing is all three of these things: thinking, speaking, or expressing, and influencing. And we just want to be heard, right? So sometimes only the paper will listen to you. Okay, so number one, self-expression. Writing, this is your chance to express yourself. What do you hold inside, unsure of whom to tell, how to put it into words, how to make it sound intelligent or pertinent? Writing will help you bring the inner you out in full confidence with a powerful voice. Number two, why write? To take your time and to not be interrupted when you have something to say. This is why writing is such an important tool above speaking, in my opinion. How often are you talking with your friends and you're kind of thinking while you're talking and it's not really making sense? You're afraid, you feel kind of stupid. Am I the only one that's happened to? I appreciate writing because I can take the time to think through what I'm saying and express myself thoroughly and completely before the other person interrupts me. That's the key, right? When you give someone a letter, they have to read all of your words before they can respond. This gives you the confidence of being heard. And so when I put something up on a blog or I write an essay, this is my time to use my voice. No one can interrupt me. It's not a discussion. This is my soapbox. So your words matter. And you deserve the privilege of speaking a message that's well thought out and complete, and then well delivered for your audience to understand and grasp. Number three, why should you write? To organize your thoughts. So at the same time, your words, whether spoken or written, aren't going to be fully understood unless they are well organized. Do you ever tell someone a story, something that happened to you, but you kind of tell it in the wrong order or mix things up? Writing is a skill that will train your mind to think logically and sequentially. You flesh out one point before moving on to the next one. This is difficult to do when we speak, but we can do it when we write. Even if we're just writing for ourselves, it's so important for us to know that we can logically think through our beliefs and what we're trying to think out. And number four, we write so that we can nail down what you really think about something. I don't know about you, but I frequently think out loud. And like when I'm talking with another person and I'm not 100% serious, I'm not totally sold on the things I'm saying. I'm just kind of trying them on for size. So when I sit down to write, I have the time to contemplate and try out some different ideas, try putting them into a logical pattern. In so doing, I might solidify my opinions, or I might find out that I'm not making any sense. Maybe I should reconsider my opinions. In our heads, our thoughts go round and round. They're abstract, they're jumbled up. especially with a lot of emotion involved. But when we write, it all needs to make sense. When we write, it's tangible. We can see the words right in front of us, and we can gain confidence when we can see those words and our message actually click right there on the page. Number 5, when you write, you can save your thoughts for future reference or further reflection. Of course, if we keep things in our head, or even we had a great conversation with somebody, we're likely to forget the details. You can't really quote it, and you might want to come back to it a year or two later. So writing is a record that we can come back to. It's a meaningful record, and it's important, and it's special because you can see how much you've grown and how your opinions have evolved since then. It's so fun to look back at something you've written early in your life. Number 6, so that you can publish your ideas to share with others. You can email it out, you can blog it, you can seek to publish it more formally if you like to, but I'm using the word publish to mean it's just there. I can keep it, I can send it, I can speak this message. It makes it feel just so much more official. I love putting my epiphanies into words and then sharing it with others, whether I just text a friend or I put up a blog post or a Facebook post. Humans are social creatures. We're meant to connect with each other, to share those epiphanies and our ideas and to inspire each other. But we won't be effective at this until we have something written down, organized, logical, with the appropriate emotion. I talked about emotion earlier, and emotion's not bad, but if it's just in our head or in a conversation, it's jumbled up with our message, not in a constructive, appropriate way. But when we write, we can use that emotion strategically to help solidify and support our message. All right. Beautiful writing isn't about the words we use, it's about the emotions we evoke. That's why we share our writing, so we can connect heart to heart with another human, right? So how do we get them, the teens, started writing? It's great if you do it yourself. Maybe your teen hasn't caught the vision. What should we do? How do we work this into our homeschool day to get them started writing? Number 1, have them jot something down every day after finishing their schoolwork. There's different names for this concept, like a log, or in Thomas Jefferson education, it's called a commonplace book. And it's really great for them to have a little paragraph every day, just summing up what they learned. What do they really enjoy that day? What stood out to them? What new ideas or insights did they have? What was meaningful? Anything that comes to mind, just jot it down. They don't have to summarize their entire educational day. Just a cool idea, just something that motivated them, right? Try to get a paragraph and then maybe work up to more, but just start with a random notebook that sits at their desk. And when they finish their school day, they just write down a little blurb. And you can start this when they're younger. Totally. You could do it for them when they're younger. Number 2, how do you get them started writing? You have them free write or journal about their life, their friends, their activities, their feelings, whatever is inside that is meaningful that they carry with them. They can just put it down on paper. It doesn't have to be organized any certain way. Free writing just means I just throw up my brain and just get it all out on the paper, right? So this is especially wonderful when they're upset, and it just helps them process. They just need to scribble, right? It's so therapeutic. It's a neurological tool that connects your brain through the motions of your hand. And there's really something psychological about seeing the words in front of you, getting them out of your brain and into a real tangible surface, like right here in front of you. And then a lot of times as we write, we realize, oh, those emotions aren't as big as I was feeling them in my head. So many times I've had an experience and I go to journal about it and I think, I have so much to say, I'm going to fill up 3 pages of my journal. And then just after 2 paragraphs, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's all it is. I got it out. And it's just so therapeutic. So free writing is the unstructured way where they can scribble and just get it all out. And then journaling is something more that you're probably going to keep. So you want it to be more thoughtful and and maybe more appropriate that they are not going to be super embarrassed to look back on when they read their journal a few years down the road. Okay, the third strategy in getting teens to write. When they enjoy a movie or a book, have them write about it. These are great movies and books because firstly, they're fun and engaging. It's something that teens enjoy. But secondly, there's so much to write about. They can start with their favorite parts, the twists or the bad guys, whatever. But help them start thinking about why do you like this story? Besides the fact that it's entertaining, what does it make you feel? What's the message? Does that message, is it relevant to your life? Is it reminding you of something? Do you have any opinions about this topic, whatever it is? Do you agree with this message, or maybe you don't? Maybe you like the movie, but you want to examine it a little bit and you want to debate it a little bit. Well, now is the time to get on your soapbox and do that. You can also connect stories in movies or books to a different story, to an experience that you've had in your life, something in your religion or your worldview. Like those things matter to us. They are the foundation of who we are and our opinions and our interpretation of the world. So go ahead and make that a part of your soapbox, right? Connect a story to your worldview and take a stand on something. And by the way, this is what my literature classes are all about. We have fun reading books. I let them have choice in what we read. And then we dig into the messages, the characters, the quotes. We debate the ideas in the books. We relate it to our own lives. We make it real. We make it relevant. We connect it to what we believe and what we're experiencing in the world. And then the students, they get on their soapbox and they write essays on whatever struck them about that book, and then they read their essays out loud to each other. So they really get to stand on that soapbox and to publish their thoughts to each other. It's such a rewarding experience. Number 4, when they sound passionate or opinionated on any topic, write it down. Okay, so maybe you're having a conversation, maybe you watch the news. If you're not sure what they're passionate about, pay attention to their bargaining when they're asking for a privilege or something. This will tell them what matters to them, what they're passionate about. If they need more time with friends, if they want video games, if there's a certain purchase they want to make, if they're tired of doing a certain chore, or they want to eat a different meal, they're developing so many interests and opinions. Multifarious, new experiences and thoughts. Do you like that word? The dictionary.com says that it is a post-collegiate level word, but I found it in the book Frankenstein and I had my students learn it. So that is my new cool word to use. So they are developing multifarious opinions about all sorts of matters, and they need to express these things. We really need to support them, help them feel confident that their mind is capable of thinking, that their heart is capable of feeling, and now they want to speak their opinions. Give them freedom to explore this and encourage them to get on their soapbox and to write it all out. And then number 5, when they have a question about anything, like I wonder, why is this, have them find the answer and then write about it. So you can incorporate this into your homeschool, maybe once a week. So the first step is you just write down your questions whenever they come up, have a little log, and then at whatever time of your week when you were going to sit down and find those answers on the computer, look it up, find the answers, and then write it down, add it to your daily log, knowing that this is a question that originated with their own curiosity. It wasn't a school assignment. It was just them wanting to learn. And now that they found the answer, they get to write it down and kind of journal, like I was really wondering why this or why that, and I found out the answer, and let them write through that. It's really important at this point. Don't critique their writing. Okay. Warning, don't criticize their writing. This is not the time to critique their grammar, their punctuation, their spelling. They're developing their voice. This is what really matters. The voice comes first. Their identity and their opinions and learning how to stand on your soapbox with confidence, that comes first. Don't worry about all these technicalities, all right? Okay, different types of writing that our teens can do. Let's talk about poetry real quick. Poetry is music. It has this awesome beat. Have you ever noticed that? Poetry is flow, it's emotion and imagery. And the cool thing about poetry is that rules don't matter. Teens love this. The sentence structure can go in reverse. Punctuation goes out the window. You break up the lines in random places, wherever you feel like it, really. The world is your oyster. With poetry, you are in charge. So let them experiment with this. Start small, start silly. If they need to just get some silliness out of their system, give them some different poems, different types of poems to look at. And then before you know it, they'll be putting their very souls onto the paper in this poetic form. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see. Teens love this. It's so therapeutic, and they can really find their voice with poetry. It's such an emotional outlet. It's an intuitive tool for expression where you can just turn your brain off and just let it flow. And you can experiment with the music and the beat of those words. Now, here's some little thoughts. To write means more than putting pretty words on a page. The act of writing is to share a part of your soul with the world. And I really do feel that writing, especially poetry, is a part of your soul. Writing is a form of therapy. Sometimes I wonder how all those who do not write, compose, or paint can manage to escape the madness, melancholia, the panic and fear which is inherent in a human situation. We all need therapy, right? There's so much chaos in the world. Let's just write some poetry and get that out of our system. Okay, let's talk about stories. Stories are also very therapeutic. So I studied English in school. I also have a degree in psychology. You'll see that come out in some of my discussions with the students. So with stories, whether conscious or not, the author is projecting themselves into their characters. The author can work out insecurities or conflicts, or even carry out various fantasies, whether that's superpowers or just something small, like I wish I could get revenge on this bully, or I wish I could sit down and tell this person how I really feel, right? Our emotions and our stories, our personal stories that we have lived in our lives, will come out when we write. Stories are therapy, processing different factors or outcomes in different situations. Consciously or not, the writer will include symbols that represent their values and their beliefs. And there are multifarious meanings and messages. They're just so fun to express, or they show up on their own, and we discover them in our own writing afterwards. And that's the magic of literature. There's things the author can intentionally put into the stories, and then there's other things that just show up because they're universal to humans, and we carry those messages with us. I wish to give myself strength. I write to be the characters that I am not. I write to explore all the things I'm afraid of. The day will come when the story inside you will want to breathe on its own, and that's when you will start writing. If that day hasn't come yet, that's fine. One day you'll just get this idea and you'll be like, I want to get on my soapbox. I have something to write, and just sit down and let it flow. Okay, so your teens, you got them to write, they're experimenting with stories and poems, but how do you get them to write an essay? The million-dollar questions homeschool parents are all wanting to know. So essays are the opposite of poetry. They're very structured. There are rules. This is a good thing. It helps us to organize our thoughts, form a logical sequence in our argument, make sure that your ideas make sense, like I said before. Essays also serve to develop your opinions and giving them strength, backing them up. You can make books, movies, and experiences in your life relevant and meaningful when you connect it with these other things. And then you can validate these ideas by connecting to your beliefs and your values. So how do you teach essay writing? The first step, if they don't know how to write, just get them talking. Writing can be so intimidating. You know how this goes. They'll sit there frozen and they'll say, I don't know what to write. But if you just talk about the topic, they'll be able to put some thoughts together. Yeah. Ask them prompts when they get stuck, ask them for more details, have an interactive conversation. They'll get talking about what matters to them. And then step number 2, while you write for them, explaining every step. So you're both having this conversation and you're going to start typing. You're going to type up what they say. It doesn't have to be word for word, but you're going to latch onto their thoughts and the concepts, their opinions, and you're going to get their voice down on the paper for them. You can have them look at the paper and see how you're writing it, or you can show them afterwards if you think that that's a better fit. Either way, what you're going to do is you're going to explain to them what you did. Show them that when they changed topic, you started a new paragraph. Show them when they were using a common word and you used a more formal version of that word, or you used a better synonym, or you switched it up to get variety instead of using that same word over and over. Show them how you were able to squeeze in some conjunctions and make those sentences flow together really nicely and make their paper sound intelligent and have a really nice flow. And then thirdly, you're going to go back over it together. You're going to look at this paper together and see what can we do to make this sound less like you said the words and more like it's an intelligent, well thought out, organized, written paper. You're going to find better ways to combine the sentences, or where can we describe something using more imagery. Look up some words in the thesaurus, find some synonyms instead of using regular speak or using the same basic words over and over. Try not to start sentences with the same word. Vary up the sentence structure, vary up the sentence length, throw in lots of more adjectives and adverbs. Try to start a sentence with an adjective or adverb, or a phrase, or a subordinating clause. And you know what? If you don't know what I'm talking about with these English class terms, that is totally, totally okay. Writing is awesome anyway, even if it's not totally polished or professor sounding. They will be so glad to have a paper printed out with their name on it and a title. My son is 11 years old and he's learning to write essays. I use this very process with him. And another thing we like to do, once he's ready to start typing some on his own, this is what we started. We both get on separate devices and looking at the same Google document. So have you ever done this where you can see the other person typing in real time and you're watching these words magically appear on your computer screen because they're typing it and you're just watching? It's so fun. It's like a game. The kids love doing this. I get on the phone with them and we're typing on the Google document together and they just think this is so cool. So my son will type, and then when he gets stuck, I give him some suggestions and I kind of type a few words to get him going. And when we're done, we get through what he wants to say, and then he thinks of a title and he puts it really big in a fun font. And then he prints it out and gets it in his binder. See, a fresh, clean, published manuscript. They're so proud when they can print something out and see it published. It makes them feel so proud. And because we did this as a game together, there's no frustration. It was just an interactive exercise, a fun activity for them to share with you. And then over time, they will write more and more. And then you will write less and less in these activities, just playing this game together. And then one day they'll surprise you by doing it entirely on their own. My older daughter, just 4 months ago, she's a creative writer. She likes to write novels, and she was like grumbling, essays. I'm never writing essays. Well, I said, can you write? I'm going to buy their special version of Minecraft. I'll download that, but I want an essay every week from you. And so it started out, we were doing it together, and then she started writing more and more. And then this last time she said, I want to do it. This last time she said, I want to do it all by myself. I don't want you to look until I'm done. And she wrote that essay all by herself. And I was so proud of her. All right. You don't have to be great to get started. but you have to get started to be great. So even if it's awkward and clumsy at first, even if you just do a few sentences, whatever you can, let's get started. Let's get these teens developing confidence and feeling that they can use words. We want them to be great. They just have to get started. It's so special. Kids are so special, and learning is wonderful. Let's keep it beautiful. Let's inspire them. Let's model what we want them to learn by doing it ourselves. Let's make it relevant and help them understand why this is helping them grow and establish their identity, why they can do this to become more mature and more influential, more powerful. And then when they feel this power, they will really enjoy it. If you need help with writing coaching, just give me a call. I'd love to jump on the phone with them and get them writing on Google Docs together. So come to my website, find me on Facebook, reach out to me, and I'd love to give you more ideas. Thanks so much for being with me in this class today. As a thank you, I'd like to give you $30 off one of my online courses. And just you'll message me and just mention that you saw me on this conference and that you'd like $30 off. So go to lucialearning.com. We're going to start the fall semester at the end of August. We'll do 14 weeks of inspirational confidence building discussions and real life lessons. We apply everything we learn to just real life. We give them lots of choice, get them discussing and get them passionate about what we're talking about. Classes are once a week, and then they have a book to read or a paper to write or a presentation. And it's so fun to have them share their essays and their presentations with each other. They teach each other and they get excited because they chose their own topics and they put the work into it, and then they get to teach each other. And I feel like they retain so much more knowledge this way, so much better than studying for a test and just getting it down on the Scantron, and then it falls out of your head and you're just trying to get a grade. Such a better system when it is driven by their own curiosities, by their own needs and desires, and they have so much more choice in the matter in an interactive discussion-based setting. So please try a course with me this fall, and I'll save you $30. Thanks again for being here, and good luck on your writing journey in your homeschool. You can do it. You can get your kids writing, and you can make it an enjoyable process for everybody involved. Thanks so much for being here.